Now, there are 18 teachers who took more than 50 minutes to travel to school. Work out the number of teachers in the school. Where is your 50-minute? If you look at your box and whisker, your 50-minute is here. In other words, your 50-minute is your Q3. So we already went through a previous question before that, right? Where you all fell for the trick. Some of you fell for the trick. You forgot that each quartile has the same number of people. So if there are 18 people in this quartile, it would mean that your Q1, your Q2, which is your median, and your Q3, all of them would have the same number of people. All right. So if your 50 minutes is your upper quartile, it will work out to be one quartile has 18 teachers, and therefore total is equal to 18 times 4. That's it. Don't do weird things, please. Okay. Next, make a comment comparing the averages and a comment comparing the distributions of times taken by the students and teachers. Use figures to support your answers. So in this case, you realize that they ask you to compare two things, but 3 marks. So where does the extra 1 mark come from? The extra 1 mark comes from a particular working. Now, compare averages. What average do we compare over here? Median. So the box and whisker average is median. Some Sec 4 students asked me weird questions the other day. They asked me, how is median an average? You learn central tendency. Central tendency, there are 3 averages that you learn. What are the 3 averages? There is mean, which is the average that you learn in primary school. There is median, and there is mode. All 3 of these things are called averages. And that's why we don't use the word average to describe something, because when you use average, you are not being precise. Which average are you talking about? Is it mean? Is it mode? Is it median? Okay, all 3 of them are considered averages. So in a box and whisker, you can only compare median because the median is given in the box and whisker. Hey, cannot be exam want to give you all 3 marks. You all don't want your 3 marks. Box and whisker diagrams are 3 marks for the O levels. So check the interval. Each interval is 2, not 1. So this is 36, and this is 28. Okay. So what can you make? How do you compare the mean? So you tell me that the median, on average, teachers take a longer time because median equals to 36 than students. Median equals to 28 to go to school. So that will give you 1 mark. So Ashas, the range in the box and whisker, how do we compare the distribution in the box and whisker? What gives me the distribution in the box and whisker? So in the box and whisker, you have your IQR to compare range, because your box and whisker indicates your Q1, Q3, and your median. So you need to go and find what is the IQR here. So over here, you will have, this is 34, and this is 16. Then this is 32, and this is 50, right? So IQR for students equal to 34 minus 16 to give me 18. And IQR for teachers is 50 minus 32 to give me 18 as well. So that finding the IQR gives you 1 mark. Standard deviation. Both standard deviation and IQR are used to compare spread, yes, or distribution, but in different diagrams. So you must know the correct diagram must use what. Okay, so box and whisker is IQR because you won't be able to find anything else. It's not possible to find standard deviation using your box and whisker. Okay, so the range to compare is IQR in the box and whisker, and therefore you tell me that since they have the same, since both teachers and students have the same or equal IQR in traveling times, they are equally consistent. In the distribution of time. Okay, so the word or the expression that Cambridge wants to see is equally consistent. They have the same consistency. They have equal consistency. Okay, because same IQR. So for finding IQR is the one where the 1 extra mark comes in. All right. Let's move on. Probability question. In a class of 24 students, 8 walk to school, 6 cycle to school, the rest travel by bus, so the rest is 10. One student is selected at random, find the probability that they travel by bus, so P bus is equal to 10 out of 24, which is equal to 5 out of 12. Let's move on. Two students are selected at random, find the probability that they use the same type of transport. So this is a slightly different scenario from what we are normally used to. Because this case here, they are mutually exclusive. So you either take, both of them either take bus, or both of them take train, or both of them take, no, sorry, they either take bus, both take bus, or both cycle, or both walk. So they are mutually exclusive events. If they are mutually exclusive, what do you do to the probabilities? You do not multiply the probabilities together, right? So this is not the scenario where you go and times 3. This is a scenario where you add the probabilities together of each individual case. So P, both same, is equal to, so what's the probability that both walk? 8 over 24 times 7 over 23, right? This is both walk. Then you have the probability that both cycle, which is 6 out of 24 times 7 my head, times 5 out of 23. This is both cycle. And finally, the third scenario is 10 out of 24 times 9 out of 23. This is both. Take bus. So you are supposed to add the probabilities and not go and times 3 because they are not the same thing. They are mutually exclusive scenarios. Actually, not that they are mutually exclusive scenarios. They are independent scenarios, but anyway. So 8 out of 24. When you press calculator, please remember to press the arrow before you press the next part. That's a very common mistake that students make. So you will end up at 22 out of 69. Okay. Part 3, find 3 of the students are selected at random now. 2 of them walk, 1 does not. So walk is what? Walk is 8 people, right? That means does not is 16. So we don't care the does not take what. That is not important to us. So the scenario here is just walk versus don't walk. So P, 2 walk, 1 doesn't, is simply equal to, what's the probability that 2 of them walk? So 8 out of 24 times 7 out of 23. And what's the probability that the other one doesn't? So it'll be 16 out of 22. There are 3 different ways to permute this, right? It can be, you can switch them around, but therefore there are 3 possible scenarios like that. And therefore you will just take the whole thing and multiply by 3. That's it. Okay. The answer key for the TYS for this kind of question, they always like to do the addition method, which I can never understand why they like to do the addition method. All right, the 3 scenarios, because multiplication is commutative, you can just directly times 3. That's it. So you will just get 56 over 253. Maybe the addition method helps students to understand it better, but I do think that you should just understand that there are 3 possible scenarios and therefore you multiply by 3.